Welcome to Altcoin Buzz Trading. I'm Randy. Today we're talking about Bitcoin, Thorchain, and Maker. Yeah, we're talking about Maker today. All right, let's get right to it. Mentioned 2 days ago to stop trading. Mentioned yesterday you didn't have to keep trading if you didn't want to. I'm going to say it again today. You don't have to if you don't want to. This is not a market where you have to jump in. Otherwise, you're going to be losing out on a big opportunity. This is not that environment, okay? Trading is different from other things that you do. If you invest based on news, then you're driving yourself crazy buying and selling every day. If you buy coins that you find arbitrarily here and there, you can buy and sell every single day. There's lots of coins out there. But if you're trading based off of technicals, then you pretty much only want to trade when the technicals are in your favor. Okay, you have developed some sort of an edge on the market, and you transact that edge over a period of time, hopefully resulting in more gains than losses. And you do that through effective money management. And part of that money management strategy is to only trade when the odds are in your favor. Odds right now are kind of hit and miss, at least for my kind of a strategy. Market tries to go up, fails. Market tries to go down, fails. That's a really hard thing to kind of deal with. And I'm not making a lot of moves right now. Basically, I haven't traded at all in the past several weeks. But there are some opportunities out there, and some people are going to try. Some people are newer and want to try. I recommend starting out with less capital. If you've got $1,000, only trade $100. You don't need to risk all $1,000 learning. It doesn't learn you anymore if you lose more money. If that was the case, I would be the most knowledgeable person on the planet. Okay. So the general point is that you take appropriate risks when appropriate. Okay. That's it. If you don't like the setup, if you think something's fishy, don't take the trade. You should fully understand what you're doing when you do it. Okay. So with that being said, let's look at some trades. All right. BTC, we talked yesterday about potentially moving up through this 26,446 level. We're attempting to do that in the past 24-ish hours. We've already had a couple attempts to go higher. This one failed, and that's okay because it was our first attempt. You kind of expect a little bit of a failure. We've come down and formed a base. Late yesterday, early today, we also failed on two elevated volume candles. That tells you the distribution is still around. And even in this current candle that we're currently sitting in, this was green, flipped red when I did my other show. Now it's back green again. So is it going to launch up higher with a lot of volume from here on up? Probably not, but you never know. If we are able to clear these levels and the bears step aside, maybe we'll make that attempt higher. Like we said, one of these many resistance points. You got one here at the 50 and 200 daily moving averages. You've got one here at this high. You got the trend line breaking point here at 28.8. You've got other highs up here at 30,200. One of these is probably going to fail at, and if we're really lucky, it'll get all the way up here towards that, give or take 31,200 level, whatever level that is. So it'll start to move up at some point, but it could falter at any time. This is not an extremely bullish environment. It's just not. So we'll see if it rallies. We'll see how it rallies. That's how price action works, okay? If you learn how to read price action, which the definition of price action is essentially how does the price and volume relate to one another? If it's really bullish price action and you have, let's find like a really good price action candle, just on the candle level itself, is this green candle. That's a pretty good price action candle. You've got very high volume, considering, and you've got a very full-bodied candle. That means that most of this volume went to the buying pressure, right? And then you have other candles that don't look so hot, like on this 2-hour time frame. Relatively, this was a pretty high volume candle, and look where it opened lower, went all the way up, came all the way down, and closed towards the low. That is not a bullish candle. So by kind of understanding these price action principles, you can say, are we healthy or are we not healthy? And if we don't look healthy, we're not going to be taking a lot of trades. Okay. So this is a bit of a tricky situation, but at some point you got to pull a trigger, and that decision is left up to you on how you want to handle that. So right now, this doesn't look like something I would be pulling triggers on. High volume candle. We're not towards the high of the day. This is already flip-flop both directions. Doesn't mean it won't work. I've seen things like that work. I've seen more than things like that fail. But the point is that we're at a bit of a crossroads which direction is the market going to go. I got no idea. Neither do you. Neither does anybody else that's trying to clickbait you on their video. Don't fall for those idiots, okay? Don't do it. They don't have your best interest in mind. They just want you to watch the video regardless of the results. So, again, I'm trying to teach you. I'm not trying to just spoon feed you stuff here. Okay, speaking of food feeding you stuff, I got 2 trades. Hey, I got to do something. All right, Maker. So this one, we did talk about, I think this was the one we did yesterday. Yeah, we did this one yesterday. And coming out of the trend line here, rallied up, came lower. So this is where your stop loss comes into effect, right, ladies and gentlemen? So again, market not super healthy. This is a nice big pattern though. It may be too many people see it. Maybe it's not going to work out. I don't know. But so stop loss right now, down here at about the 5% level. Not a bad stop loss, all things considered. But this can turn around anytime. So you're just kind of letting this ride right now. And we'll see what happens with it. It's a pretty good chart pattern. Nice cup and handle. Volume signatures are pretty good. So we're just going to let that one go and just see how it does. So if you got in on the trade, that's fine. This is a low volume drop. That means that once the sellers exhaust themselves, ideally the buyers will step back in and rally. So nothing really broken here. And then let's talk about Thorchain a little bit more in depth. So I've got Thorchain. I got my papers here that I write all my coins that I'm talking about. And got my other one back there. It's just how I roll. I don't really script much on my shows here, and which I think is better. But anyway, Thorchain, we've talked about this a couple of times. It's been a while, though, actually. This is one of the first coins we talked about. Wow, all the way back on 8/21. So 8/21, when was that? August 21 was all the way here. Yeah, we talked about this thing potentially topping, and it did. It sure did top. I think that's what we talked about. That's what my notes say. Yeah, we talked about it a couple times. Anyway, the point being, this is now a more mature chart as well. 1.679 alert level. Let's zoom out here a little bit. So we've been able to hold these lows. We never came back down to this horizontal. And we've been able to hold up this diagonal, which is pretty good. Forming a small bull flag right now. This is not a bad signature. We had one similar to this that rolled over. The whole point of these with these levels like this that I have drawn on here isn't so you buy them today. You don't buy this today. You may say, well, Randy, why do I want to pay more for something when I could buy it today at a discount? Because you're not actually buying this at a discount, to be honest with you. Because number one, we don't know if it's going to work, right? Number two, it'll only work if it gets through this level. So until it hits this level, it's not going to work. If it's going to go up, it has to go through this level. And this is somewhat of an important level. There's more important levels, such as the horizontal up here at the 177. But it has to get through the resistance for it to be like an actual trade. Okay, so let's line this up. We'll go to our long trade this time. Bam. All right, we've got that. Now, as usual, our stop loss point really has yet to be triggered on the chart, I feel. I feel that we're probably going to pop up here and chop around a little bit, but let's just say that these are the lows, and that's about a 5.48% stop loss. So far, arbitrarily, this just popped up, gave us a 2.45 risk-reward ratio. Well, if we get up to that 277, it's going to bring that risk-reward ratio down to a 1.1. Keep in mind, when you buy on a diagonal such as this is not a traditional breakout. There's two kinds of breakouts, early breakouts and traditional breakouts. The early breakouts usually will at least get you to the traditional breakout point. Okay, so I hope that's clear. And in this particular situation, your traditional breakout, like I mentioned, is the 177, which I'm just going to have to take on, which is right there. Okay, now, we could rally up a little bit more, but I think that one's okay for now. So this is, you're probably at least, I don't want to say guaranteed, but you're probably at least going to get to there. If it fails there, you can have a break-even stop loss if you notice a big failure. High volume selling pressure, those topping candles we looked at earlier with the wicks on the top and the small bodies on the bottom. Those are all stalling signatures. You can sell on those, move your break-even point, make that your stop loss, okay? Or make your stop loss your break-even point. and that mitigates risk, okay? Now, but if it gets above that, the next thing you're talking about is kind of around here up in the peaks, which gets you to a 2.34% risk reward ratio. The only time this can get a little bit tricky is if we drop down and it lowers our stop loss point. Now, again, I want to remind you, you want to move your stop loss point to where it's good on the chart, not to how much money you're going to lose. If you can't stomach losing more than $100, and if this is your stop loss point and this loses you $250, you're like, I'm not willing to take that risk. Number one, don't take the trade. If you're going to take it anyways, even though you're told not to, you need to make your position size small enough so you only lose the $100. So that may mean a half position size, a quarter position size. There's a number of things it could mean, okay? But you basically lower your risk in that scenario. So if we drop down and this increases the risk, once again, if it does come down, you're going to be waiting again anyway. So maybe we'll come up with another stop loss point. But the fact of the matter is that you want to make your stop as good and as tight as you can. Now, in terms of profits, from a bigger picture wise, you're looking at Thorchain here with hopefully a good expectation of a move. This full measured move, I do not think this is likely, but it is possible. I'm going to throw this on here just because if we get really bullish, this may transpire. I'm not saying it's going to, okay? I'm just throwing out possibilities, and this is the first one. So this is a really big move, 138%. And the reason I'm even throwing this on here is because it's already happened. It's right there. Where my finger's not going. It's right here on the chart. You just saw me draw it. So this is not a figment of anyone's imagination. Is it likely? I don't think so. If this were likely, I think Bitcoin would have a much larger breakout, better volume. Bitcoin tends to rule what happens. So if this happens, this is a possibility. Okay, likelihood I'd say 10%, 15%. More likely we're going to come up and hit here. Let's take some other measured moves. Guys, if I'm not spoon feeding you stuff in a way you like, it's because this is how the market works. And I'm just trying to give you the truth. That's it. I'm not trying to sugarcoat you by any stretch of the imagination. Let's do the width of the triangle methodology. And I'm not going to go all the way to the wick. I'm just going to go right there to be a little bit less greedy. And so that is a potential 37% move up. So I think this has a potential if the market gets going, a little bit bullish. We don't have to be super bullish, but this is something that could happen. 7.3 risk reward ratio, exit point at 2.3, entrance at 168. Okay, and your stop loss there just underneath 160. I think this is a possible trade scenario, more likely. But I like to give you guys more context. Okay, I think that's important. I don't know what other YouTubers are doing. I don't watch YouTube for trading at all. Haven't for years. And this is just stuff that I do. Okay, so there you go. So there's Thorchain. I think this is a decent possibility. If it gets to the breakout point, if it starts to break out, and you kind of have to be there for that, right? One more way we can take a actually don't want to get rid of that one. One more way we could take not a measured move necessarily, but derive a target is using Fibonacci's. And one of my community members does this, and I think it's pretty good. So I'm going to do it. Yep, there we go. And what you can do is you can take your Fibonacci tool, draw from the low all the way to the ultimate high. Okay. And then typically if coins pull back to the 50% level here, which 50% is not a Fibonacci, but we got to use it, or the 61.8, this case it pulled back to the 50% level here. It has a possibility of running to this 236, which is at 245. I just threw a lot of numbers at you. Digest that, do what you will. But my general point is that most of these signatures point you in this general same area. Okay, so you're looking up here at the 230 to the 245 for a potential target if this breaks out. All right, so that's all I got for you, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, this is a bit of a tricky market. Let's circle back to BTC to see what it's doing while we've been recording this. So BTC trying to move up a little bit. Bitcoin rules the market. As Bitcoin goes, so will the market. Stability in Bitcoin means alts can move. Bitcoin falters, it means altcoins probably won't move. So we're hoping for bullish to stable Bitcoin for some of these trades to transpire. All right, guys, you have a great day out there. Stay safe, and I will see you tomorrow on Altcoin Buzz Trading.